Spencer stood before the trellised wall, trying to bring herself to press the call button on the intercom. From where she stood, there was nothing to see except a nondescript sidewalk a few blocks off the Vancouver core, but she was intimately familiar with the building on the other side. She'd been 8 the first time she and her mom had stayed there. She'd stood right where she was now standing, with a tiny backpack holding her stuffed monkey, a toothbrush, and a single change of clothes. The ghost of her fear swirled in her stomach, and she reminded herself that she wasn't a child anymore, and she didn't have a need to hide. I'm here as a volunteer. There were other children and teenagers staying in Sunrise House, though, whose fear wasn't a ghost, but a very real and tangible presence. They all had unique stories and situations, but the fear was the same. And Spencer understood what it was like to live in fear of someone who was supposed to love you. She pressed the button and waited, acutely aware of the security camera fixed on where she stood. She didn't have to wait long. Spencer Adams in the flesh! A middle-aged woman opened the gate and motioned for her to step into the yard on the other side. It is so nice to meet you. I am elated you've offered to volunteer with us. Our teens are going to love this program. The woman hardly stopped to take a breath. I'm Beverly Tate, but call me Taz. Everyone around here does. Spencer wondered at the nickname, but didn't ask, as Beverly, Taz, was already showing her around the yard. This was the program coordinator she'd been communicating with through email? Their communication had always been brief and professional, and she had in no way expected this excitement or energy. We can house 30 women and families, and we're always at capacity. Taz opened the door to the house. Here's our common area. We've got... The words faded into the background noise as Spencer stepped inside. The old wooden floorboards groaned at her entrance. 10 years of the same complaint. And the air had the same musty smell, which they attempted to mask with floral air freshener. Everything was exactly the same as she remembered. The same green couches, the same shelf filled with board games and books, the same painting of the ocean above the fireplace. She used to sit on that center couch and gaze at the portrait of the ocean, feeling acutely aware of the walls closing in around her. In those moments, she'd been safe, but it had felt as though it had come at the cost of her freedom.